Welcome back to Connecting the Dots. We all know that marketing without clarity gets messy. And most marketing teams track KPIs, but really few work with goal management. This episode is for CMOs and marketing leaders who finally wanted to fix that and start planning smarter. That's why I'm so excited to have with me today Sophie Hedestad. She's the CEO of Noxit, and she has seen firsthand in her experience as CMO how difficult and challenging it is to track and manage goals for marketing teams. And she decided to fix it. I actually would like to start by asking you, you've been a CMO, you've been managing director, and you've been doing this OKR thing for a long time for marketing teams in the real world. And then at some point you decided you want to become a CEO and create your own tool for OKR management. What happened? How did you get that idea?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So as you mentioned, I've been managing director, I've been CMOs, I've been having different commercial roles within SaaS companies, B2B SaaS companies, and that's been great. And at one point when I was leading the OKR goal management process in my previous job, I looked at a lot of softwares in the market and I thought they were so complicated. So I wanted to do something super simple and sleek and intuitive that the audience actually would like. So I got a business idea. So it was not that I dreamt of being an entrepreneur. It was more like I had an idea I was really passionate about. So that was kind of how I made the decision that I thought it was a gap on the market. And I was quite passionate in solving that gap.
Yeah. And did you leave your job right away to build Noxit?
So this was at a time when I was pregnant with my second child. And actually, I think I wouldn't made this decision if I wasn't on maternity leave. So I went on maternity leave and I kind of thought like life is too short and you have a lot of time for yourself when you're away from work as well, kind of more existential thoughts as well. And I would never think that I'm going to have like a business idea. And I was quite passionate about this one. So decided to do it.
Okay. And we're gonna go into what OKRs are and how we define them and how can marketing team use them. But I think I'm also interested to understand what is one goal that maybe you put for yourself or your team that you thought was really good on paper, but then actually was not so good when you were practically looking at it.
So as I mentioned, I'm an old CMO in B2B SaaS companies. And I think what we did when I was a CMO, we had a lot of details. So, I mean, we were measuring every part of the marketing funnel, which would be website traffic, raw leads, marketing qualified leads, sales accepted leads, booked meetings from leads, conducted meetings from leads, offers that were out, closed won deals. So it was a lot of data points and we were measuring this for many years. So I would say like it didn't give us any guidance on the focus we should have here and now and the focus we should have for the next upcoming quarter. So I think that's something that didn't work really well. But we will talk about OKRs today. That's a focus tool. So I think measuring the funnel and the KPIs is great and you should do it, but you need to kind of make OKRs that would be your kind of strategic focus for the upcoming quarter to make it alive.
And if we start from like the definition, what does OKR stand for? What does it mean?
So it actually sounds like two components, but it's three. So it's the objective. It's the key results and it's the initiatives. And we work a lot with 3-3-3, which would be 3 objectives, 3 key results underneath each objective, and then 3 initiatives underneath each key result. So it's a strict hierarchy, you can say.
Yeah.
And the objective would be the direction. And you can ask yourself the questions, what do we want to achieve? What do we want to change? And a control question could be, is it aligned with the strategy? So that's the objective. And the key result would be the measurable and time-bound outcomes that you're after. So if you would have an objective around like we're going to successfully launch in Germany, how would you know if you successfully launched in Germany? That would be the key result. We have 3 paying customers. We have 50 marketing qualified leads and we have made 2 partnership deals or whatever it could be. It's measurable and it's binary, like have we achieved it, have we not achieved it? And then that's it's the initiatives And I just told you it should be underneath the key results. So if you have 3 paying customers in Germany, what could be the initiatives that you do? I'm going to have a webinar in the German market, or going to launch a podcast, or whatever it could be. That's initiatives or actions or activities that will take you to the key results.
And why is 333? Why the 3 number?
If I would say to you, buy milk, bread, butter, and I would add a 4th item, it would be really difficult for you to remember. So then you need to bring up your phone and kind of add to your notes. So same thing with goal management and OKRs, that keep it simple, less is more.
It's like a way to have mental clarity. It's 3 things that's going to help you kind of remember that and be focused on those 3.
Yeah, and I think also as a leader, it's quite easy to follow up on it. So if you have 3 key results, it would be super clear for you. When you would have 3 key results that you're working on currently, you would have a look at them. So it's quite easy to follow up and remember.
Because we in marketing often end up having a lot of different goals, a lot of different initiatives, and a lot of different key results and so on. And it can get really, really messy, right?
Yeah, and that should be in the KPIs, right? So OKRs shouldn't be everything.
Yeah.
It should only be what you need to focus on the upcoming quarter.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, because I think one of the element where we do get confused often is the difference between OKRs and KPIs. So if we were to take the example of like launching in the German market, what would be then my KPIs that I would be looking at, and how do they differ from the OKRs?
So I would say the KPIs would be your health metrics, and you probably have your KPIs defined already before entering the German market. So in marketing, it would be probably, the website traffic, the leads, the accepted leads, the booked meetings, and all the stages in the funnel. So you would already have it defined right somewhere, and you want to track it over time, while the OKRs would be your focus tool. So if you enter the German market, OKRs would be better than KPIs, because you don't have the KPIs for the German market just yet.
Yeah, makes sense.
And KPIs would, if you have like international presence, it would be captured there anyways. So they actually coexist in a really nice way. So you would still have your KPIs. It's the health metrics. It doesn't transform your company or your team. It's health metrics. So you define like, this is a healthy number. So in sales, it would be how many sales meetings could a salesperson have every week? Yeah, you cannot have more than 15 sales meetings. And that's the KPI then, right? That you follow every week. Is it 15?
Yeah, I understand.
Or not? So that's more kind of the health. While KPIs is something you never done before. So if you're going to enter the German market, you might not be possible to have 15 booked meetings every week in the German market. So you need to work with OKRs in that uncertain
scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. In your previous experience, you've been responsible for setting up OKRs for marketing teams, but actually for the company, right? What would you say is a challenge that you had and then most companies have when they try to implement OKRs?
Yeah, so when I was implementing OKRs in my previous job, I mean, we had so many different departments. We had products, we had marketing, we have tech, we have sales, we have customer success. And what I experienced was that we worked in so different ways. So tech department worked a lot with solving tickets and building the product, and sales worked a lot with the CRM and with kind of the sales routines that you do every week. And I felt like the ways of working were quite differently. And that was difficult because they had, I mean, the whirlwind, I call it, like everything that happens every day. You get emails, you have meetings, you have a long to-do list, you have a role description, and the whirlwind happens to you. And it's really difficult to protect time to work with transformation. So I would say that's the most biggest pitfall, I would say, like the whirlwind, the daily business that happens to us every day, and to protect time to work with more transformational goals.
So do OKRs only cover transformational goals, or it could also be like business as usual?
Yeah, so if you're really strict, it should be transformation and not business as usual. The business as usual would be covered by KPIs.
Okay, makes sense. So it would be like if I'm planning, which like most people are now doing, planning their marketing for next year, I would include in the OKRs for my team like the big bets, those initiatives or those objectives that will actually transform the company or transform, like really make like a big splash, let's say.
Yeah, so what I would suggest you would do with your team would be to go through the company strategy, and then you would ask your team, what do we want to change? What do we want to achieve? And have like a planning session where you plan your focus. How many people are you in your team?
We're 7.
7. So I would recommend you would have a tactical quarterly OKR cycle, while the company, I would recommend them to have a strategic yearly cycle. So you would look at the yearly OKRs for the company and you would set your quarterly tactical OKRs based on it. And you would ask yourself, what do we want to achieve? What do we want to change? And that would be your objectives. And then you would define how would we know if we achieve this or not? That would be your key results.
And it would be that we would check in on those more frequently because we're a smaller team, or because also it takes a shorter time for us to actually implement those. What's the difference between having more tactical check-ins or more strategical check-ins?
If you define tactical quarterly OKRs in the marketing team, you should check into them at least bi-weekly. And you already have a weekly meeting, right? So maybe you can restructure it so you don't create too many meetings.
Yeah.
Then you would ask your team to check into the key results. We talked about Germany before. Let's say you have like 50 marketing qualified leads in Germany and you have that for Q1. Then you should check in towards that bi-weekly. And it's quite a good key result, right? Because you can see some progress and you can see if your initiatives are checked off or not. Are they done? Are you working on them? So I would do that check-in, and the check-in is similar to like a tech engineering stand-up. You shouldn't delve into details.
Yeah.
You should report how you're doing and if you are stuck and you need help and what happened since the last time. And the person that is facilitating the meeting, which I would recommend shouldn't be the leader, it could be someone else in the team, would time box and make sure you do it quite fast and efficient. It could be like a 10-minute stand-up, the check-in meeting.
Why should it be someone else and not the team lead?
So I think it's a great way to delegate ownership as well, and to make people more responsible for the OKRs. In my team, I actually had a Scrum Master, and he was great, and he was also quite introverted. So I think it was a great opportunity for him to lead this meeting, and he did it in such a nice way. And he made sure everyone had the same time to talk and so on. So I think that was great.
If you were in a company where maybe OKRs are not implemented yet and you're leading a marketing team, of course, OKRs is not just something that you do for marketing, you have to do it company-wide. But what would be the benefit for the marketing team to have OKRs implemented in the company? Why should I push for that to happen?
So I talked about it's a focus tool, but it's also an alignment tool. Marketing would be highly dependent on sales and product and other departments to deliver fully and to deliver the company strategy. And same goes with sales and product team. They are also highly dependent on the marketing team. And if you collaborate, you could reach for the stars. So it's a perfect way for getting like vertically and horizontally alignment and transparency, and get a handshake from other departments. So it's a focus tool, but it's also kind of helping you align with other departments.
Could also be a way for marketing teams to make other teams understand what we do and how we work, because often many other leaders in the organization have questions or opinions about what marketing is doing. And maybe that's also a way for us to protect our work.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I see also would be that, 100% of the work wouldn't be captured by OKRs. So how I work with it in my marketing team was that we had the yearly OKRs from the company, and then we had the tactical OKRs for the marketing team that we planned quarterly. And then we made a sprint out of the quarterly focus for 2 weeks. So we set goals for the sprint based on the OKRs. That was just great to connect all the different time horizons, what we're doing here and now.
So what would you say it's a good way for someone in marketing, a marketing leader, CMO, to start implementing OKRs? Where would you start?
Good question. So I work for Noxit today, and we have an OKR tool. So you can sign up for a free trial and upload your strategy document, and you would get the OKRs based on your strategy, because ultimately it's a strategy execution framework and method. So you want to base your objectives and key results on your strategy to get the strategy and get the movement to the next phase for your team and for your company. So I think that is a quick fix, right? But then you need to also align with your team member that they think this is the right focus. So I would probably involve them in the work.
So you need your strategy. So the first step, you need to have a strategy, and then you could use Noxit, or you can use, you can look through your strategy and trying to implement your OKRs, and then double checking also with the team if that's kind of a shared direction for the marketing team.
You should need the company strategy at least. What do we want to achieve? Often it's a business plan 3 years ahead.
Yeah.
What can we do this year at company level to make sure we are delivering that business plan? And then if you do it by the book, then the marketing team would set the tactical quarterly OKRs based on the yearly company OKRs.
Makes sense. And something that we also talked about a bit before is OKRs are often used in performance review. So are part of how a person is evaluated, right? And in marketing, it's also quite common to have that as part of your performance review. Do you think that should be the case or not?
So this is very debated, and the best practice says no.
Okay.
That it's a tool for company goals and team goals and cascade strategy in the organization, but not set individual OKRs. So if you do set individual OKRs, it would most probably be more kind of learning goals that you can connect to the team OKRs. But I would say, like, if you assign an owner, which is also best practice, like if you would own this key result, we talked about 50 marketing qualified leads in Germany. If I would assign you as the owner, it would be a team goal, but it would also be your responsibility, right? So per se, it's not the individual goal, but you're the owner of it. Yeah. It depends on how you define this. But that is how it works today. So I would, in some degree, say that would be your kind of individual focus, right? To make sure it's happening within your team.
Okay, makes sense. So it would be slightly different to have like marketing OKRs and company OKRs, and then you could have your own individual OKRs, and those could be something that you're evaluated on, but those could be more like learning, as you said.
Yeah, that's more best practice, that you wouldn't set out of the 50 marketing qualified leads, you're responsible for 20. Like that would be very individual, right? The best practice is not to do it like that. I've seen companies been quite successful with individual OKRs. So I think it depends on the culture and how it's done as well, and the leadership and everything. Yeah. I also seen companies work with it for individual performance. It's not recommended, but I seen companies that successfully executed the framework like that.
What would you say is maybe a mistake that you see that companies make when they try to implement OKR?
So I seen one company implemented it. They had 12 objectives, and it was so difficult to kind of...
Sounds very confusing also, like it's a lot of objectives.
So having too many goals. And also kind of, this is a bit schizophrenic, but fitting everything into your OKRs that you're already working with could be one pitfall. But on the other side, having two transformational OKRs that you don't relate to here and now, so you would never look at them, like one quarter would pass by and you wouldn't do anything of it, and it didn't help you in your daily job. That is a pitfall as well. So it's a bit schizophrenic, because I just said like putting everything you already do or making it too transformational. So the best way to do it is to have some kind of balance between that.
Makes sense. What is a bad OKR and a good OKR?
So if we look at the component of objective, it should be very inspiring, and you should align that it's inspiring to work towards this, and it's solving a meaningful problem for us, or something meaningful we want to achieve. And I often say that an objective should be less than 9 words. So it's short and sweet, and it's describing your path. a key result should always be describing the movement. And also, I'm not saying that you should write like an essay or like a big paper here, but I think it's quite interesting if you write the problem as well. So you might have a KPI that's been read for a long time. Let's say your net promoter score has declined. So then I think you can start with that when you write the key result, like our net promoter score or our customer engagement has declined. We will measure this by net promoter score. Today it's 30. And we will, during this quarter, push it up to 40, let's say. So then it's also, if your CEO would go into your marketing dashboard and look at your key results, they would understand why you choose this. But if you would write it like MPS 40, everyone's like, okay, is this good? Is this bad? Is it not good today? I have so many questions then. So give some context.
That's really interesting. I feel like now we have to go back and rewrite all the OKRs.
It's not about perfection. It's about progress, right? So if you're doing something different, then you're getting it better and better.
Okay. So the most ridiculous OKRs that you've ever heard?
So I think it's what I said previously with having too many objectives and key result and giving too much context. I said under 9 words, because if you add more context, it might get more difficult to understand.
The 9 words are for the objective or for the key results?
Objective.
Object. And the key results is the one that has like all the context.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could ban one OKR forever, which one would it be?
Often, we're banning OKRs because often I run workshops with management teams or like team leaders, and often it's the reasoning and like, can we do it simpler? Can we do it better? And then I might not always understand their objectives and key results because their business is so complicated, but everyone else understands the content of it, and it's formulated in the right way. And then like we all agree, like this is amazing. I wouldn't understand like the actual key result because let's say I would work with a company that have factories and industries and things like that is beyond my competence level. But we all agree that we have fantastic OKRs. So it's quite difficult for me to evaluate OKRs.
Because it can be very different. If you would have like an objective and key result for yourself now at this point of your life, what would that be?
Great. I wanna have a healthy. I would phrase it like it already happened. I have a healthy lifestyle, and then I could. If I do a slightly lower cadence then on a weekly level, I would play 2 hours of paddle every week.
Nice.
And I would run. I'm not doing this, but I should.
We're not talking about evaluating. Now we're setting them.
Yeah. So I would run 10 kilometers at least every week. And I should eat 5 salads to lunch every week.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think if I had one, it would be... Now I'm trying and you tell me if I'm doing it the right way. So it would be, my objective would be, I want to eat healthy.
I eat healthy.
I eat healthy. And my key results would be, I have removed all processed food from my diet.
How would you measure that?
Well, I have an app that tells me what is a processed food. So I would remove like store-bought bread, store-bought cereals, protein bars, all of that stuff is highly processed food. I'm not doing it, but that would be ideal. And then I would make my own bread.
So I would, one key result would then be I removed all 100% processed food in my life, measured by this app. Does that make sense? Because then you're telling me how you're going to measure it as well.
Of course.
So I would add the app actually, measured by that. And then you will eat your own bread.
All the time. Every day.
Every time I eat bread, I
would eat my own.
Yeah, exactly. I would eat my own bread. 100%.
I think now I understood everything.
But I'm also thinking about the check-in, because we're talking about like tactical quarterly objectives and key results for your team. For yourself, you need to find a rhythm then, right?
Yeah.
Where you check in. So maybe if you're going to eat your own bread every week, you need to report this just every week. So you might want to set like a monthly cadence instead.
Okay. And could I make OKRs for myself as a CMO? Would that work?
I would say that would be your team OKRs, right? And helping your team.
Makes sense. Okay. Then last question. I think this should be really easy. What's your favorite tool for keeping track of OKRs?
So I founded the company Noxit, and of course we want to simplify, and do I even dare to say this, but make goal management fun for employees and for leaders.
Nice. Good. I think I've asked all the questions that I had. I think we got into the bread thinking a little bit, but that I think was fun. Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was nice. It's a lot of fun.